Yeah, so over the years I've pitched Gabriel Knight 4 to the license holders about 3 times, like actually went in with a demo and a slideshow and all that stuff, and we were never able to really successfully close that licensing opportunity. Well, I actually have fairly developed stories for 2 possible GK4s. One is related to ghosts, and the other one is witchcraft related. And I think we would probably go with the witchcraft one. And it's very, very creepy and has a great setting. And so hopefully, if we get a chance to do that, it will involve witchcraft. So I was doing the Kickstarter for Mobius when I was contacted by an Activision producer, and he was interested in looking at the idea of doing Gabriel Knight maybe in-house. And so we started talking, and eventually it took like a year and a half, but it ended up being a licensing deal for Pinkerton Road to remake the first Gabriel Knight game and just see how that worked out and how that was received, and see if we want to continue with the series. First we weren't able to use the original voices because when Sierra sold to Sendant originally, a lot of those assets were not stored, were lost, or ended up in the dumpster or whatever. So we didn't have those original files. Plus, the way SAG works, we basically would have had to, repay it all, at a very, very high rate. So we just weren't able to do the regular SAG. I mean, when we did Gabriel Knight 1, it was really the first game that was using voiceover, and so we got an amazing cast of voiceover actors for basically minimum rate, and SAG at that time too had very liberal options, so it was feasible then. It really wouldn't be feasible now to do something like the original Gabriel Knight cast with 10,000 lines of dialogue, which we had. So add to that the fact that the actors were all older and not necessarily available or ill. So we had to recast it entirely. Yeah, so a couple of things I really wanted to try to do with the new game is, one, get across a lot more New Orleans flavor. I mean, the original game was like 350 pixels by, 800 something pixels, and then there's not a whole lot you can necessarily convey in that, although people, it's kind of funny because fans will say, well, the original game was so atmospheric and it was so scary. And I look at the actual background scenes and it's like blue blobs, It's like, really? So I wanted to put a lot more New Orleans flavor into it and really get sort of almost like Angel Heart is one of my favorite movies, but really get across that feeling that you're in that setting. And then the second thing was to make it even scarier. So we actually have added in some new scenes and some new cutscenes that are pretty scary into the new game. Well, our philosophy was kind of like the original plus. So we really didn't cut any content that had been there in the original game. I mean, even all the dialogue is there, all the puzzles are there, all the inventory items are there. But we have added in some new scenes and new puzzles, and so people will definitely run into things that they haven't seen before in the original game. Well, the original Gabriel Knight music was done by Robert Holmes, who is my husband. He wasn't my husband at the time, but so see what happens when you make a really nice soundtrack. You get stuck. So Robert is redoing all of the music. He, of course, on his current setup. So, much more realistic instruments. I mean, I think it was originally a MIDI soundtrack. So, it's been a joy for him to be able to take these original tunes and, completely reorchestrate them and make them sound like a full orchestra. And it's been a lot of fun. And we're hoping to maybe add a new song to it that would have a vocal in it, like we've done with the Mobius main theme and with Robert and Raleigh did for Cognition, and we had some songs in Gray Matter. So it'd be fun to be able to do a brand new song for Gabriel Knight. I think the state of adventure gaming is it's sort of in an interesting place. I mean, I'm a big Telltale fan, and I've been playing their games for a number of years. I loved the Monkey Island remakes and Hector and Puzzle Agent and Walking Dead. And I just am grateful to them that they struck out at a time when adventure games weren't being made and formed a company and showed that people could be successful doing that. And then, of course, Walking Dead has been hugely successful. So it seems like, between Walking Dead and Kickstarter, that adventure games are making a resurgence. And I hope that, I think it will be a good test in the next few years to see how those Kickstarter games do when they came out. and see how the audience responds to them, and that will tell a lot about where adventure games are going to go in the next 5 years, I think. I was very excited to get the chance to remake Gabriel Knight for tablet, because I'm a big tablet user. I mean, I love my iPad and I read on it all the time, and I love playing games on it. So to me, the opportunity to remake Gabriel Knight and, bring it up to modern visual and audio standards and get it on tablet was really exciting. And hopefully we can find a new audience for it that will enable us to keep going with the series.